9. My name's Lauren. I'm 32 years old. And for a long time, I thought I knew what it meant to live. The truth is, I was only existing, going through the motions, waking up, getting through the day, and falling asleep without ever feeling fully present. I didn't realize how numb I'd become until the moment I decided to try something different. It sounded harmless, but sometimes one small change doesn't just shift your routine. It exposes everything you've been avoiding. I've been married to Michael for 8 years. He's dependable, gentle, steady, the kind of man people trust without hesitation. Our life was calm, organized, and painfully predictable. Mornings at the same time, workdays that blurred together, evenings filled with quiet and unspoken distance. There. Paul. There's no anger between us, no chaos, just a silence that heavier with time. I cared for him deeply, or at least, I believed I did. But love can quietly transform into habit before you realize what you've lost. One evening, absent-mindedly scrolling through my phone, I came across a post advertising local dance nights open to couples and singles. I smiled to myself. I hadn't danced in years. Still, something about it stayed with me. Maybe it was the idea of singles. Maybe it was the promise of feeling alive again. I told Michael I wanted to try something new. He encouraged me without hesitation. He didn't offer to join. He didn't ask questions. So that Friday, I went alone. The studio was filled with unfamiliar faces and a nest of music. I felt out of place, unsure of myself. That's when I met Jason. Confident, charming, effortlessly present. He had a way of making the world fade. When he looked at you, he reached out his hand and said, "You look like you're meant to be on the floor." And for the first time in years, I believed it first. It was nothing more than fun, movement, laughter. A part of me that had been asleep finally stirring. The spins, the rhythm, the ease. It all felt light and freeing. But slowly, the lines began to blur. One dance night turned into every Friday. Conversations extended beyond the studio. Jason started walking me to my car. Messages followed during the week. He told me I had something special, that I shouldn't let routine erase it. I convinced myself it was innocent, that I was just reconnecting with joy. But joy can become dangerous when it's borrowed from the wrong place. One night, long after everyone had left, the music continued softly in the empty room. The lights were low. Jason pulled me closer, and suddenly, it wasn't about dancing anymore. My heart ripped. I thought of my husband, of the life waiting at home. And for one terrifying moment, I didn't want to return to it. I wanted the attention, the feeling of being noticed, being chosen. We leaned in close enough to feel each other's breath. And then, I stepped back. My hands were shaking. Jason whispered that I didn't have to settle for a life that felt empty, but I knew better. Happiness built on deception isn't real. It's just another escape. I left that night with guilt sitting heavy in my chest. When I got home, Michael was asleep on the couch. The television glowed softly. Dinner sat untouched on the table. He looked peaceful, trusting, and that image shattered me. I realized I had already crossed a line, not physically, but emotionally, in my thoughts, in my longing, in my silence. I had betrayed him long before anything almost happened. The next day, I erased Jason's number and never returned to the studio. When Michael asked if I was okay, I told him I felt lost. He held me and said we'd find our way forward together. That quiet forgiveness given without knowing everything changed more than any confession could have. 2 years have passed since that night. Michael and I began doing things differently, traveling, exploring, talking, really talking. I learned that emptiness can't be healed by replacing people. It has to be faced slowly. Honestly, trying something new didn't fix my life. It revealed it. It showed me how fragile loyalty becomes when needs go unspoken, and how easy it is to confuse attention with value. Sometimes, I still think about that night. Not because I miss Jason, I don't, but because I miss the version of myself who finally admitted she wasn't okay. The woman brave enough to want more. Even if she searched for it in the wrong place, there's a quiet loneliness that follows you after you nearly lose everything. It doesn't scream. It whispers. I catch Michael looking at me sometimes, not with suspicion, but with care, as if he knows there's still healing happening. And in those moments, I understand how rare forgiveness truly is. It's not earned. It's given when someone sees your cracks and chooses to stay. Jason once said I didn't have to return to a life that didn't make me happy. He was wrong. You don't run from unhappiness. You rebuild. You confront it. You work through it together. Michael and I still argue rebound breakfast. We laugh. We try. Our love isn't thrilling. It's intentional. And that's something I never understood before. Trying something new doesn't always mean chasing the unfamiliar. Sometimes it means returning to what you already have and choosing it fully. If I could speak to the woman I once was, I'd tell her this. You are never empty. You are never gone. You are just waiting to see yourself clearly. Life isn't about chasing what's new. It's about recognizing what's been quietly waiting for you all along. And maybe that's what transformation really is.